watching the Masters right now. I don't know how much of you watch golf. And I don't even watch a lot of golf myself, but this is pretty exciting stuff. You've got 9 players within 2 shots of each other with only 3 or 4 holes to go. It's amazing. Right now, Tiger just went into the clubhouse with the lead. Still got a bunch of guys bunched up. Again, like I said, 9 guys within 2 strokes. Actually, no, Tiger doesn't have the lead. He's 1 stroke behind, but the guy who's in the lead is in trouble right now. So we'll see what happens. The saddest part so far, the saddest part so far is this guy, Rory McIlroy, a young guy. He's 21 years old from Northern Ireland. He started the day in the lead with a 4-stroke lead, and he's just totally fallen apart. That's the thing that's fascinating about this. You can be one of the best in the world at something, and it comes down to the final day. He was leading for 3 days. It comes down to the final 9 holes on the final day of the Masters, and some guys just fall apart, and it was really sad to watch. But aside from that sad part, what's been exciting to watch is that there's been several players. At this point, I think it's been 7, maybe 8 players who've had a share of the lead at some point throughout the day. And at one point, there were 5 players tied for the lead who had started the day anywhere between 4 to 7 strokes behind. So it's been quite interesting and competitive, to say the least. What I love about golf and well, sports in general is the metaphors for life. I mean, these guys, well, for one thing, it is their life, so to them it's not a metaphor. But for the rest of us watching it, with golf, it's not always the one who's leading who ends up winning. It's not always the one who's even shooting the best who ends up winning. Sometimes it's, well, that might not make sense. Sometimes it's the ones who can get out of trouble the best, who can react the best when they get in trouble, and the lessons go on. But right now, metaphors aside, I think I'll put this down for a while. I'll just finish my video later after it's over. I just wanted to say something while it's going on because it's exciting. Again, I mean, there's no way of knowing who's going to win this because Tiger just finished up, and there's still 8 guys out there within a couple of strokes of the lead, and we'll see what happens. More later. Bye. One of the subplots going on is that no Australian has ever won the Masters. Some have come close, but no one has ever won the Masters. Most famously, Greg Norman came in second, I think on more than one occasion. But right now, an Australian is leading the Masters, and 3 of the top 5 players right now, still with just a few holes to go, 3 of the top 5 players are from Australia. What's amazing to me is how the pressure will get to these guys. I mean, it's not amazing. I know they're humans, and the pressure gets to them, but these are the best in the world at what they do. And when the psychology of when a guy gets in the lead, and it just happened again, a guy got in the lead, he separated himself from the pack by a stroke, and then what happens? He hooks one off into the trees. Best in the world, and it's just you never master it. You just never master it. And I'm afraid to miss anything. And just when one person chokes, another person rises to the occasion. It's just it's amazing. And by the way, I wasn't going for a play on words earlier when I said you never master it. I know this is the Masters. I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about that. It's just that, in life, no matter what it is, it's golf, it's, whatever it is you do, you just never master it. And one after one, players continue to hit these long putts, which is great, because sometimes these things are anticlimactic. You watch a bunch of players bunched up, and they're all just taking turns making bad shots. There's been a couple of bad shots, but most of all, which is why I keep turning away. I'm afraid to miss anything. Another really long, just these long putts. These guys are making under pressure. And I said earlier about the best players in the world, that's an understatement. As the announcers just pointed out, in the top 10 on the leaderboard right now, every continent is represented with the exception of Antarctica. So that's pretty amazing. Except that Antarctica isn't represented, so they got to start getting their stuff together, huh? Right, it's over. A man named Charles Schwartzel from South Africa 50 years to the day after Gary Player became the first international player to win the Masters, just won with a really long putt. He didn't actually need the long putt. He could have made it in 2 and still won, but that's not the point. It's quite a change in 50 years, though. I didn't realize that 50 years ago when Gary Player won it, he was the first international player to win, and right now in the top 10, there were 8 of the 10 players were from outside of the United States. So that's it, done. Yeah. Pretty good Sunday afternoon, I'd say. 2 Australians, by the way, Day and Scott finished second and third. Nothing to be ashamed of, though. It's not like years gone by when Greg Norman ended up like having the lead and losing it. These guys were charging at the end and just came up short. They both finished really strong, and it was fun to watch. This is reality TV.